Good morning, friends. Didn't you come to church this morning and thought, gosh, I hope we learn a new song? I know, not all those same old ones we've been singing, but something new. We sing out of the gray hymn book, Calling Nears, We Are a Gentle, Angry People. In fact, did we sing it last week? I think we did. So this is a Holly Nears song. It's entitled, I Am Willing. And we're going to teach you today, the choir and I, the chorus. And then we'll sing the verses, and then through this month, we'll sing it several times until we've got it all learned. I invite you to rise in body and or spirit. The lyrics will be projected up front. If you're joining us online, the lyrics will be posted in the chat. And why don't you let the choir and I sing the chorus for you one time, and then we'll invite you to sing it with us. 1, 2, and 3.
I am open, and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change.
You could do that, huh? Let's do it all together. 1, 2, and we go.
I am open, and I am willing, for to be hopeless would seem so strange. It dishonors those who go before us, so lift me up to the light of change.
All right, so we'll do the verses, and then you'll join us on the choruses. First and second verse, we have new soloists for today. We're so versatile, we just have, so many soloists. And then Holly Near asked for it to have a all Elton John groove, and who better to do that? So here we go.
There is hurt
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist congregation. Our community envisions an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. Thank you for joining us here today. My name is Alicia Seegers Martinelli. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a member of the worship arts team. I'm a middle-aged, white-skinned bodied woman with dark brown hair wearing a striped poncho today. Leading worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Gear, Troy Fisher, our music director, and Reverend Sarah Lewis, the director of community and faith development. You are welcome here just as you are. Whatever beliefs sustain you, whomever you love, however you understand and express your identity, and in all the ways that you are becoming the person you will be. Here's a few things that you should know about our service today. We are streaming live on Zoom and YouTube, and this service is being recorded. For those here in the sanctuary, you can see the sometimes creative subtitles on the screen in front and on Zoom for those online. We have soft chairs and activities up front for hands so everyone can feel welcome throughout the service. We're a multi-generational community that welcomes people of all ages. There's also a nursery care and a story time program for children down the hall in the classroom wing. So please be wherever you are most comfortable. We are grateful for the many hands that have helped make worship happen this morning. Thank you to all who contribute in so many ways. After the service, everyone will have the chance to discuss reflection questions offered by Reverend Mary. For those online, we invite you to go into a breakout room for a virtual coffee chat. And for those in person, please feel free to stay for coffee and fellowship in the Commons. At 12:15 today, please join us here in the sanctuary or back in the main room on Zoom for a forum on risk, courage, and discernment by Reverend Sarah. We will practice reflection and discernment that can help us each decide what actions are right for us in these times. We are excited to be in the midst of our stewardship campaign, and we welcome your pledges. We have an important notice about the stewardship communication. We have discovered a typo in the address on the communication that was mailed 2 weeks ago. One digit was left out on the street address. So if you are mailing your stewardship pledge, please make sure to use the address listed on our website or in today's order of service. If you have already sent in your pledge, please contact us by email and we will verify that we have it. Our apologies for this mistake. Most of the pledges have arrived electronically. And so if you do put it in the mail, please make sure it says 2306 East End Street. There should be 4 digits. And to err is human, to give is divine. And please pledge today. Are you interested in learning more about Unitarian Universalism or OUUC? Are you discerning whether to become a member of this community? If so, please join Reverend Mary and Reverend Sarah for a new UU class series that starts today at 2 p.m. and continues for the next 7 Sundays. This first class is on UU values, history, and structure. This month's spiritual practice mini retreat is on Saturday, March 8th, on the monthly theme of trust. Join Reverend Sarah for this experience of contemplation and connection. And next Sunday, we spring forward for daylight saving time and lose an hour. So that means it is Pajama Sunday here at OUUC. Feel free to wear your PJs to church, whether you're online or in person. Now, as you've heard, there are many things happening at OUUC. Check out Tuesday's electronic update or the website for the most up-to-date information. Now, let us open our hearts, and our minds as we prepare for worship. Welcome, everyone. It is good to be together. This morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, the symbol of our faith tradition. This morning, we do so with words of Reverend Julian Lepp. If you are online and have a chalice or a candle, please join us as we light our chalices together. We light this chalice with hope, a sturdy flame we nurture in these difficult times. We light this chalice with the heart of compassion for a nation divided by politics and strife. We light this chalice knowing that it will take all of us to repair this world we live in. May we find rest, compassion, and the hope that we need to nurture ourselves and each other. May this sturdy light remind us of the people we can be and the difference we can make in the world together.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Mary, and I use she, her pronouns. I am a white woman in my early 60s. I have curly silver and brown hair, and I wear glasses. Today I have on a green sweater dress and my Buddha stole that reminds me to flow like the river. Our opening words today are offered by the Reverend Gretchen Haley. Every little thing that breaks your heart is welcome here. We'll make space for it. Give it its due time and praise for the wanting it represents, the longing for something more, some healing hope that remains not yet. We promise no magic, no making it all better, but offer only this circle of trust, this human community that remembers, though imperfectly, that sings and prays, though sometimes awkwardly, this gathering that loves, though not yet enough. We're still practicing, after all, still learning, still in need of help and partners, still becoming able to receive all this beauty and all these gifts we each bring. Come, let us worship together.
Let's sing together, There Is a Love. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit. The lyrics to this song will be posted on the screen at the front of the sanctuary or in the chat if you're joining us online.
Good morning. Small Fry lived in a lake. It was a little lake at the foot of a mountain. And the lake was rather dim and covered with lily pads, so that small fry and the other fish who lived in the lake couldn't see anything outside. And so to them, the lake was the whole world. They did not believe there was anything besides this lake that they swam in circles daily around. But there were other beings in the lake, notably Frog. And Frog was odd because sometimes Frog existed in the world, and sometimes Frog disappeared from the world. And Frog told amazing stories. Stories about something called land and something called sky and all sorts of beings that lived there. Now, the fish listened to Frog's stories but didn't believe this at all. Frog was just making things up. This was far too fantastical. But Small Fry loved Frog's stories and often went to listen to them. And it was on one day that Small Fry was listening to a story that Frog was telling about something called wildflowers that Frog stopped and said, "You don't believe a word I'm saying, do you?" And Small Fry replied, "Of course not. Everyone knows this is the whole world. You're making things up." So Frog proposed, "I have a way. I have an idea. And if you're brave enough, and if you trust me, I'll ask Eagle to take you on a trip and show you." Well, Small Fry wasn't sure about this. But those stories that Frog told were so amazing. Why, to see that with their own eyes. So, the next day, Small Fry was there waiting in that spot. And sure enough, suddenly something picked Small Fry up and flew up and up and up. "You must be Small Fry," said Eagle. "Let me show you around." And Eagle did. Eagle showed Small Fry the meadow, the land, the grass, the flowers, the deer, the mountain, the stream, the trees. It was all so amazing, so much more amazing than Frog's stories had painted it in Small Fry's mind. But all too soon, it was time to go back. "Fish can't be out of the water for long," said Eagle. "I need to return you." And so gently, Eagle flew back over the lake and let Small Fry go. Frog was waiting. "Was it amazing?" Frog asked. "Yes, it was so amazing, so much more amazing than I ever imagined," said Small Fry. "I can't wait to tell the other fish." "Well, we'll see about that," said Frog. Small Fry told all the other fish of this amazing adventure. Frog's stories were real. But the other fish didn't believe, and all swam away. Except for one, who Small Fry noticed was still there. "I am so amazed by your story," said this other fish. "I wish I could see it for myself." "Well," said Small Fry, "if you're brave enough, and if you trust me, that might be arranged." Thus ends our story.
It's stewardship season at OUUC, the time when we make pledges of financial support for this community. Stewardship is both a practical act and a spiritual practice. We know that it takes all of us to support this congregation that we love. It takes all of us to provide the resources that pay our staff and our bills, and we know that joining our individual resources to do this is a profound act of community. Each Sunday we pause to notice what is in our hearts and to place a stone in the water, or share in the Zoom chat. Each stewardship season, we have the annual opportunity to pause and notice what we value, and to give as an expression of gratitude for what we have received. Each Sunday, a different member of the OUUC community will share a brief testimonial about something they have found here and value. Today's testimonial will be shared by Ann Gustafson.
Good morning. My name is Ann Gustafson, and I am a third-generation Unitarian Universalist. I was raised in this religious tradition, and I want my 10-year-old son to also experience being part of a tradition that supports him and the formation of his own spiritual questions and his own relationship to purpose, ethics, and morality. OUUC is an important community to us. Here he gets to meet adults and kids of all ages and to form relationships, to be cared for, and to practice caring for others. I love Thursday nights when someone else makes dinner for us and I don't have to plan, shop, and cook. I feel so cared for by this community on Thursday nights. If I am thrilled that someone else cooks, my son is thrilled to get to choose what he wants to eat from a variety of different dishes, especially when there is dessert. We eat and talk and get to know others who are drawn to the traditions of this church. He then goes to his class for the younger kids, and I get to go sit in silent meditation with the UU Buddhist Sangha, or I get to meet with the monthly parents group. Both meetings are a real treat for me. I love to sit in silence with the others in the Sangha, and I love talking with other UU parents while we wrestle with the difficult questions that parents know so well. Even though we usually don't have answers, it is good to find common ground. Last month, at a Thursday night dinner, a gentleman member of the church took the time to talk with my son, to ask him questions and to kid around with him. My son's face was shining with pride that an adult noticed him and took the time to talk with him. These little moments are the best of all. I am a pledging member of OUUC because I benefit from the community, the sermons, and knowing that in this place I get to be with people who value an open-minded spiritual search and who will not try to put me in a box or tell me what to think. I want to help support OUUC in whatever little ways I can, whether that is financial or in conversation and simple community with others.
Each Sunday, we engage in the spiritual practices of generosity and gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. We each have the power to share, and when we combine our gifts to create an offering, together we are able to do more than any of us can do alone. We also express our gratitude for the gifts that life has given us, for the network of relationships in which we live, and for the presence of this community. If you are new or visiting us for the first or second time, you are our guest, and we do not expect you to contribute. However, if you are moved to be part of our offering, what you share will be most gratefully received. The offering collected here does two things. It helps support the ongoing work of this congregation, which is also supported by our regular pledges. And this offering supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. Our Share the Plate organization for March and April is Wild Grief, and this is what they share about their work.
Hello, Olympia UU congregation. My name is Monica Annie. I use she and her pronouns, and I'm the program director at Wild Grief. We are a small local nonprofit. We've been around for about 10 years, and we offer free peer support groups for people of all ages who are grieving a death. And we do all of our programs in nature through hiking and camping and backpacking. We really believe that it's really important to normalize grief and that being together outside with other people who have a shared experience is really healing. We serve over 350 people per year, all the way from babies to elders, through all these different programs, including programming in Spanish. All of our programs are totally free, and we provide all the gear for the overnight programs and help with transportation and just try to make them really accessible. Here's just some reasons why you might want to support us. People love our programs and come away from them usually saying that they feel a sense of relief and just connection and community. And also here in Thurston County, there actually isn't any other free grief peer support available right now, especially for children, teens, and young adults. So this is really crucial right now, the work that we're doing here. Here's some pictures from our teen backpacking trips and from our family camp out. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can just go to our website, wildgrief.org, and check out the volunteer page. We have a lot of ways to plug in. Thank you so much for supporting our work. We appreciate it.
May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
Thank you so much for your generosity in all the ways that you share your gifts. This morning, we do what humans have done always. We gather in times of worry and anxiety, and in times of celebration and of joy. We come into our community bringing all that is on our minds and in our hearts, So let's open our hearts to the complexity of life as we place stones in the water of community. You will hear a drumbeat. Allow its resonance to enter into your body. It's the heartbeat of life, the heartbeat of our community. So right now I invite you to take a deep breath in and out. Feel the air as it enters and leaves your body. Feel the earth beneath us. Feel the warmth of connection. We place a stone in the water for the people of Ukraine. May they know that they are not alone. This week begins the Christian season of Lent, with the festival of Mardi Gras on Tuesday and Ash Wednesday the day after. In the Christian tradition, this is a time of reflection for connecting with the life of Jesus in preparation for the Holy Week that leads to Easter. We extend our hearts in care to our Christian siblings in this sacred time. Now let's open our circle wide. For those joining us on Zoom, I invite you to share from your heart by entering in the chat. Those of us in the sanctuary will be able to see your sharing on the screen, and it's shared with me and the pastoral care team. For those on site today, I invite you to come forward if there's something you'd like to bring into community this morning. You may place a stone in the water as you hold your sharing in your heart. Let's hear the heartbeat of our community as we reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share today. We place a stone in the water for all that has been shared online, shared from the heart. And one more stone in the water for all that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. We hold together all that has been shared. May you feel yourself witnessed. May you know yourself beloved. In the spirit of resilience and the practice of grounding ourselves, I invite you into a time of meditation. Please be in whatever way is comfortable for you in this moment. We begin the Buddhist loving kindness or metta meditation by blessing ourselves, then moving out to bless all beings in the interdependent web. So I invite you to settle in wherever you are. Relax your body, shoulders and neck. Feels like the weight of the world right now. Relax your arms and hands, your core, your legs and feet. Feel the grounding of the earth beneath you. You might soften your gaze or close your eyes. And notice your breath, the breath of life as you breathe in and breathe out. I invite you to place your hand on your heart or your chest or your belly and repeat after me. May I be well. May I be well. May I be safe. May I be safe. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May I be whole. Now I invite you to extend your hands and heart out to the others in your circle of family, friends, neighbors, co-workers, communities. And repeat after me. May you be well. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. Now extend your hands and heart to all people across this nation and the world, even those who might be a little bit hard to bring into the circle. They are human and they are in this circle too. We extend metta, loving kindness to them for our own well-being as well as theirs, for we are all connected. Would you repeat after me? May you be well. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be safe. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May you be whole. Now extend your heart and hands out to all beings, all that is. And repeat after me. May all beings be well. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. May all beings be peaceful and at ease. May all beings be whole. Let's be in silence together.
Thank you, choir. Both of today's readings are from Cultivating Trust as an Organizing Strategy, Lessons from Mycelium Mushrooms by Adaku Uta. Uta is the senior manager of the movement building programs at the Building Movement Project, a national nonprofit organization that catalyzes social change through research, relationships, and resources. She was born in Baltimore and raised in Festac, Nigeria, naming herself as an Igbo, queer, non-binary person. It takes courage to bring our trust forward and invite another person to meet us there. This sometimes sure, often shaky surrender is an opportunity to discover something deeper than the confines of our individual experience. A catalyst to grow beyond ourselves, to find the places where love can exist, even when we are unsure of the destination. To embrace a kind of faith brave enough to yield a wider focus, often unseen with a singular lens.
Part 1, Risk and the Unknown. The United States is a nation founded on the idea of diversity. Almost immediately after signing the Declaration of Independence in 1776, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson were given the task of designing a seal and a motto for this new nation. During that time, many of the leaders were opposed to a theistic motto, a position that was most ardently held by Jefferson. After some debate and deliberation, the motto that was amazingly agreed upon by everyone was E pluribus unum, Latin for out of many, one. This is the motto on the Great Seal of the United States, which was adopted in 1782. It reflects the optimism and challenges of a new country that was striving to operate in a system of democracy. And the first decision makers of this country were white men of education and means, and they disagreed on many things. As we have added people of other identities and experiences to the mix of power and decision-making, different perspectives and disagreements continue. They are an inherent part of a democratic process. Now, the national motto celebrating our diversity remained in place until 1956, when it was replaced and changed to "In God We Trust." Now, this theistic motto had been on U.S. money since 1864. Isn't that interesting? It was adopted as the national motto in 1956 during the Cold War, in reaction to the feared secularization of communism. The term that I heard growing up was godless communism. Maybe you heard that too. The shift in the motto to a theistic one can be characterized as the legacy of the founders of the current political conservative movement, rather than of the founders of this country. It was more of a political statement than a theological one, and it's been controversial since the decision was made. This motto about trust in God was reaffirmed by Congress in 2011 by a very politically conservative Congress during Barack Obama's presidency. To declare that in God we trust, I think, says that the prosperity of the nation is in the hands of God. It places trust outside of any human influence and outside of the hands of the people. Our trust is placed elsewhere, not in ourselves, and not in each other. Our spiritual theme this month is trust. It's a complex idea to explore in these socially and politically challenging times. And yet, perhaps it's during these times of uncertainty that we are most aware of what and in whom we place our trust. In the thin book of Trust, leadership coach Charles Feltman defines trust and distrust this way. Trust is choosing to risk making something that we value vulnerable to another person's actions. And distrust is our assessment that what is important to us is not safe with this person or people, or in this situation, or in any situation. Now, there's a number of things I notice about these definitions. First is that trust is a choice. When we trust, we choose to be vulnerable and to put something that we value at risk. When we choose to distrust, it's based on our judgment that we and what we value is not safe. What makes trust a spiritual practice is that it takes true, clear, and calm connection to our values, our inner wisdom, and our power to decide who and when to trust. We have agency in any decision to trust. And the second thing I noticed is that trust involves risk. It requires making ourselves vulnerable. Some of us learn young, when we are most vulnerable, that the people around us are trustworthy and that the world in general is trustworthy. And some of us learn early that the people around us and the world is not a trustworthy place. And if we are very lucky, those of us who did not learn to trust early find people and communities with whom we can explore and learn trust. Some of us find trust in something greater than ourselves, God, nature, the universe, spirit. Some of us find trust in connection with people. Some find trust in a cause or ideal. And some find trust in institutions. To me, this feels like a really risky time. And I notice that I feel very vulnerable as I watch long-standing institutions being dismantled. This feels like a time of betrayal as the trust I placed in people and institutions is being violated. It's institutional betrayal. The infrastructure and the support that I trusted would be in place may not be there for me or for others. And this feeling of existential vulnerability at this level is new to me. It might be new to you, too. And the thing is, it's not new to everyone. There are many people for whom the current systems and structures don't work and never have worked. They were never meant to be included. We call that oppression and injustice. I have privilege because the many systems that were made to work for me and people just like me. So this time gives me the opportunity for more understanding and compassion for those who have felt vulnerable and betrayed by unjust systems all along. I can understand that feeling. And I can draw strength and courage from that in a time when we are called to work harder for more justice and inclusion. And living in this time has also helped me affirm that I'm not willing to give up on trust altogether. Although it feels risky and vulnerable, I know that trust is the key to building the world that I want to live in. The last thing I notice about trust is that it applies to our relationship with ourselves as well as to those outside of us. We not only trust or distrust others, we trust or distrust ourselves. Social worker and researcher Brené Brown says that, quote, self-trust is often the first casualty of failure or mistakes. We stop trusting ourselves when we hurt others, get hurt, feel shame, or question our worth, unquote. We learn to distrust ourselves rather than seeing ourselves as humans who make mistakes, still worthy, and with the agency to be accountable and make amends whenever possible. In this time of so much distrust, we may also be mistrusting ourselves. It is possible to build trust and heal betrayal. It is possible, and it takes courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to risk. It calls us to lean on our spiritual practices as we seek to make wise choices about trusting as we go forward.
Our second reading is also from Cultivating Trust as an Organizing Strategy, Lessons from Mycelium Mushrooms by Adaku Uta. This essay is part of an online zine titled, Let the Choir Say Wow. Writings collected to accompany Emergent Strategy, Shaping Change, Shaping Worlds by Adrienne Marie Brown. Cultivating trust is an organizing strategy. It illuminates the distinct potential to generate meaningful communication, yield collaboration grounded in sustenance, bolster collective commitment, and acknowledge competence and worth. Trust intercepts blame and attack and invites care and compassion to take the lead. It takes the time to ensure that practices are aligned with values. In times of crisis, trust knows that you won't be intentionally hurt by comrades. It relies on our imagination's harvest and initiates possibility filled with hope and inspiration. It encourages us to delegate and share our work so imbalance dissolves and burnout fades. Trust invites us to come together for the sake of collective liberation.
Part 2, trust. You probably already know that we are in a time of extreme distrust of government, institutions, leaders, and each other. For decades, there has been a determined and continual effort to erode trust in government institutions so that when the time came for their destruction, it would be celebrated. For centuries, we have cultivated a culture of supremacy that defines the other as less than and unworthy. Who is named as the other changes, depends on the times. In the 1950s, it was communists. Now it's trans individuals and immigrants. But the culture and the strategy is the same. Define an unrealistic ideal and dehumanize anyone who doesn't meet it. Distrust fuels autocracy and authoritarianism, because it makes it easier to sow division among people. Waging Nonviolence is a website dedicated to people-powered news and analysis. And on November 4th, 2024, they ran an article titled, 10 Ways to Be Prepared and Grounded Now That Trump Has Won. The first 2 steps offered by author Daniel Hunter are trust yourself and find people that you trust. Trust yourself and find people that you trust. Before we can get anything else done, we have to build trust, and we start with ourselves. So how do we do that? Well, in her research on trust, Brené Brown has identified 7 behaviors that build trust, and they spell out the word braving. The first is boundaries, which means that we respect our boundaries, we set them and keep them, and we respect the boundaries of others. We ask when we're not clear about something, and we are willing to say no. The second behavior is reliability, simply doing what we say we'll do. Simple, maybe not easy. The third, accountability, is owning our mistakes, apologizing, and making amends whenever possible. It also means asking others to hold themselves accountable and holding community boundaries when people are unable to do that themselves. Vault means confidentiality. We don't share what isn't ours to share. To risk trust, we have to know that our confidences will be kept. Integrity means that we practice our values. We choose what is right, in line with our values, over what is fun, fast, or easy. When we choose courage over comfort, we uphold our integrity. Non-judgment means that with trust, we can ask for what we need and share our feelings without fear that we will be judged. And generosity means that we give the most generous interpretation possible to other people's actions and words. Generosity paired with accountability allows us to acknowledge our intent and our impact. So these are the elements of trust, the behaviors that we can use to build trust in ourselves and in each other. I believe that we are all longing to experience trust. It's part of belonging in a community. And it's a courageous leap of faith to follow that longing. It's these behaviors and practices that help us get close. And what's nice about these behaviors is that we can take stock of how we're doing in our relationships. So for example, in preparation, I have reflected on this in terms of my relationship to you, a congregation, as your minister. And I feel pretty good about how I'm doing with reliability and keeping confidences and integrity. And I continue to work on boundaries and non-judgment. In fact, congregational consultant Dan Hodgkiss, an expert on policy-based governance in churches, says that the first and most important work product of any minister is building trust by keeping promises and setting a good example. Trusting and being trustworthy is the most important thing that I do. And building trust isn't just my number one job, it's yours too. As in any group of people, trust has been broken here. Trust in ministers, trust in the board, trust in each other. And in my time here, I have also experienced magical times of amazing trust building. It's possible. And we must rebuild trust to move forward to do the justice work that we're called to do, because what we do in here is what we take out there. To rebuild trust, we can ask ourselves what areas we're strong in as a congregation and what areas we might want to work on together. In our reading, Uta says, trust intercepts blame and attack and invites care and compassion to take the lead. It takes the time to ensure that practices are aligned with values. This is the spiritual practice of trust, taking time to ensure that our practices are aligned with our values, inviting care and compassion. In today's after-service forum, Reverend Sarah will invite us into some spiritual practices to help with the discernment that's required for justice work. These practices can help build trust in ourselves and others, and trust in something greater than us, however you name that. Living our values is countercultural right now, and we need each other. We need to trust each other to stay strong and grounded. My 5.5-year ministry with you has been all about rebuilding an organizational structure, rebuilding systems, and most of all, rebuilding trust. Building an institution and trust in this time of so much mistrust is pretty daunting. And I know that it is absolutely essential and crucial. With so much crumbling around us, with so much mistrust that is being intentionally created, it is a countercultural act to build trust and build up an institution of a faith community. I'm honored to be sharing this ministry with you in these times. So this month, I invite you to notice where there is trust in your life and how you can build even more. The upside of a time of transition and uncertainty is that nothing is inevitable. Trust invites us to come together for the sake of collective liberation. It invites us to build a nation that is truly out of many, one. Together we have the power to build a world that is more loving, just, and healthy. By our words and our actions, may we make it so. Let's sing, shall we?
Let's sing together. We're going to sing What Wondrous Love. I invite you to rise in body and our spirit.
What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, my soul? What wondrous love is this, oh my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, when I was sinking down,
We extinguish our chalice with the words of the Reverend Angeline C. Jackson. May we remember that trust, like love, grows in small moments, in promises kept and confidences held, in boundaries respected and amends made, in showing up again and again and again. May we be brave enough to risk trust, patient enough to build it slowly, and gentle with ourselves and others when it breaks. May you go with joy, go with commitment, go with love.